Welcome back, dear friends, to your daily dose of ancient wisdom. Today we continue our reading of Srimad Bhagavata Mahapurana, Tritiya Skandha or Book 3, Discourse 16, which is the fall of Jaya and Vijaya from Vaikuntha. Brahma continued, "The Lord who has his abode in Vaikuntha joyfully received the foregoing words of those sages who had taken a vow of devotion to Srihari and extolled him in the aforesaid manner, and spoke the following words in reply. The Lord said, These attendants of mine, Jaya and Vijaya by name, have committed a great offense against you, ignoring me at the same time. The punishment that has been meted out to them by you, who are so devoted to me, is approved of by me. O good sages, inasmuch as the offense against you constitutes an affront to me. The Brahmana is my highest deity, and the disrespect that has been shown to you by my own people, I take it as an offense committed by myself. Hence, I crave your forgiveness for the same on this occasion. On a servant doing a wrong, the world generally blames his master for the same, and the disrepute thus brought to him tarnishes his fair name, even as white leprosy disfigures the skin. You know the whole world, down to the pariah who cooks and lives by the flesh of a dog, is immediately purified by a dip taken through the ear into the nectar of my unsullied glory. But it is from you, the Brahmanas, that I have derived this highly sanctifying renown. Therefore, irresistible as I am, I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you. Because of my services to you, the dust of my lotus feet has become so sacred that it immediately wipes out all sin, and I have acquired a disposition on account of which Shri, the goddess of fortune, leaves me not. Even though I have no attachment to her, while others, including the highest gods such as Brahma and so on, observe sacred vows for securing even a sidelong glance from her. I do not enjoy the oblations offered by the sacrificer in a sacrifice through the sacrificial fire, which is one of my own mouths, with the same relish as I eat the delicacies overflowing with ghee through the mouths of Brahmana, who, having dedicated the consequences of his action to me, is ever satisfied with his lot and relishes every morsel he takes. The power of my Yogamaya, or the wonderful divine energy, is infinite and unobstructed, and the water in which my feet have been washed, namely the holy Ganga, quickly sanctifies all the three worlds along with the Lord Shiva, who bears her on his head. Yet even I bear on my crown the holy dust of the Brahmana's feet. Who would not, under the circumstances, bear with them? The Brahmanas, the cows that yield materials for the sacrificial offerings, and the defenseless creatures are my own bodies. The vulture-like messengers of Yama, the god of punishment appointed by me, who are furious as serpents, angrily tear their bills, those who look upon these my bodies as distinct from me, their faculty of judgment having been impaired by that sin. On the other hand, they captivate my heart, who with a gladdened heart and with their lotus face enlivened by a nectar-like smile respect the Brahmanas, even though they utter harsh words, looking upon them as my own selves, and pacify them by praising them in loving words, even as a son would appease an angry father, or as I am pacifying you. These servants of mine thus trespassed against you without knowing the mind of their master. I shall therefore deem it a favor done to me if you so ordain that, reaping the fruit of their transgression, they may return to my presence soon, that the term of their exile from my abode may expire before long." Brahma continued, "Even though the sages have been bitten by the serpent of anger, their soul was not sated with hearing the Lord's lovely and illuminating speech, which was like a series of mantra or sacred texts. Though brief, the Lord's excellent speech was difficult to comprehend because of its momentous import and was most profound in significance. The sages heard it with wide open, attentive ears and pondered it as well, yet they could not understand what he intended doing. The Brahmanas were all the same extremely delighted to behold him and experienced a thrill all over their body. They then spoke as follows to the Lord, who had revealed the mighty glory of his supreme divinity through his Yogamaya or wonderful divine potency. The sages said, O self-effulgent Lord, we are unable to know what you contemplate doing. For even though the ruler of all, you speak of favor done to you by us. A friend and well-wisher of Brahmanas as you are, it is but natural for you to believe that the Brahmana is your supreme deity. The fact, however, is that Lord yourself is the self and the deity of not only the Brahmanas but even of the gods like Brahma, Shiva and others. The eternal religion or Sanatana Dharma has proceeded from you, and the same is protected from time to time by your manifestations or avatars. Nay, you alone are recognized by the Shastras as the immutable goal as well as the secret of Dharma or religion. By your grace, the yogis or the mystics treading the path of nivritti or indifference to the world are easily able to cross the ocean of birth and death. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, the dust of whose feet is borne by others seeking wealth on their heads, waits upon you at the appointed hours, as though anxious to secure a place in the abode in the shape of your lotus feet, of the king of bees, who hovers on fresh wreath of tulsi leaves offered to you at your feet by some blessed devotees. Excessively fond as you are of your greatest devotees, you have no great regard for Lakshmi, even though she offers you her faultless services. Doomed as you are by a number of adorable virtues, how can the dust on the roads trodden and hallowed by the feet of Brahmanas, or the marks of Srivatsas, a curl of hair on your breast, lend sanctity to you? Or how could you accept them as ornaments? O Lord, in the form of dharma or virtue, you are manifest in all the three ages, namely Satya, Treta, and Dwapara, the fourth meaning Kalki being notorious for its marked absence of dharma, and as such you protect with your 3 feet, namely purity of mind and body, austere penance, and compassion, which severally characterize the 3 ages. The fourth, namely the truthfulness being present even in Kali, though is an attendant from this universe consisting of animate and inanimate beings for the sake of gods and the Brahmanas. Kindly drive away by your divine personality, which consists of pure, immaterial sattva and is the bestower of all blessings, the elements of rajas and tamas in us, amicable as they are to virtue. If you, who are dharma personified, cease to protect the Brahmana race, which is the foremost of all twice-born classes and which deserves to be protected by you through loving worship and polite words, the blessed path of the Vedas chalked out by you, O Lord, will forthwith disappear from the world, for the people would accept as their standards that conduct which, ceasing the worship and speak polite words to Brahmanas of yours, who are supreme person. This can never be to your liking, for you, being the storehouse of sattva or goodness, are ever intent on doing what is good to the people and uproot the enemies of virtue through the agency of kings that represent your power. Since you are the suzerain lord of all the 3 worlds or the entire creation and the protector of the whole universe, your glory is not at all diminished by your mere stooping down before the Brahmanas, for that is a mere sport on your part. Nay, we accord our hearty approval to any other punishment that you may choose to inflict on them, O universal Lord, or to any additional substance you may be pleased to confer on them, allowing them to continue in your service, or you may mete out on us any punishment that may be suitable for us, since we have pronounced a curse against your innocent servants. The Lord replied, know that the imprecations uttered by you was ordained by myself, O holy Brahmanas. Therefore, being born before long into the demonic species and firmly united in thought with me, through concentration of mind intensified by anger or hatred, they will return to my presence shortly thereafter. Brahma continued, having seen Lord Vishnu, who was so delightful to the eyes, and the self-effulgent abode Vaikuntha, the sages now went round the Lord as a mark of respect and prostrated themselves before him, and then taking leave of him, they returned extremely delighted, applauding his divine splendor. The Lord then said to his attendants Jaya and Vijaya, depart from the place, but fear not. May all be well with you. Though capable of nullifying the Brahmana's curse, I would not do so. On the contrary, it has my approval. It had already been pronounced by Rama or Lakshmi, who was angry with you when you on a previous occasion stopped her entry at the door while I was buried in my yoga nidra or deep samadhi or trance. Absolved from the sin of insulting the Brahmanas by concentrating your thoughts on me through anger, you shall return to my presence not long afterwards. Having thus instructed his gatekeepers, the Lord entered his abode, adorned with rows of palaces and possessed of an all-surpassing splendor. As a result of the Brahmana's curse, which was not easy to escape, the two attendants of the Lord, the foremost of the guard inhabitants of Vaikuntha, lost their splendor, and their pride too was gone, even as they were about to fall from the realm of Srihari. When they actually began to fall from the realm of Lord Vishnu, a loud outcry was raised by the occupants of the principal aerial cars. O dear sons, if it is those two principal attendants of Srihari that have now entered the powerful seed of Kashyapa deposited in the womb of Diti, it is by the glory of these twin asuras or demons that our glory has been eclipsed, and there is no remedy because it is the Lord himself who is keen to do all this at this juncture. The Lord, who is the controller of the three gunas or modes of Prakriti, nay, who is responsible for the creation, preservation, and dissolution of the universe, and whose Yoga Maya or wonderful creative power cannot be easily understood even by the masters of yoga, that most ancient person alone will come to our rescue. What purpose can be served in this behalf by our deliberation on this subject? Thus ends the 16th discourse in the book 3 of the great and glorious Bhagavata Purana, otherwise known as Paramahamsa Samhita. Thank you.